Hi everyone, I'm Navneet Krishnan. I'm a wildlife photographer, and in this video I'll be giving you top 5 tips to master the exposure triangle. So before we get started, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel so that you get daily one video to learn more on photography, Lightroom, Photoshop and Premiere Pro. So without any further delay, let's get started. Exposure triangle is a parameter through which you can expose your frame perfectly. So I'll give you top 5 tips to master your exposure triangle. Tip 1. Understand the lighting condition of your frame. It is very much necessary to understand the lighting condition of your frame. So imagine I am the subject right now and this is the lighting condition. You have to know how much amount of light is coming from here and how much amount of light is coming from here and the other source. So you have to understand what is the light source is and how it reaches the subject. So what is the distance between the light source and the subject and how much amount of light will reach the subject. And even this monitor right next to me, even it has some light that is giving to me in the background. So all this matters. So you have to understand how much amount of light reaches the subject so that what is the setting that you can make to your exposure triangle to get the perfect image. So understanding the lighting condition is very much important. That is the tip number 1. Tip number 2. Understand your subject. So in this case, I am the subject, right? Like I told you in the previous case. So I am the subject. So if I am very static, like I am sitting still, it is very, you have to analyze, like before you, like let me take an example of wildlife for that matter, or modeling. So in case you have a model in front of me, so I tell them like you pose this way and you pose that way, and they're going to pose and they are not going to move at all. So in that case, you can set your shutter speed in such a way that you get a bit amount more of light into your camera, and you can play with your aperture and ISO and all those things. But in case you are having a subject which is like not very stable, it's keeping on running here and there, and you have to shoot a bird that is like flying or it's going to take off. You have to set a shutter speed, and so that you have to know the subject, like whether it's going to take off or whether it's going to land or whether it will be standing there stable. So you have to have at least not complete knowledge, but at least 80% of the knowledge about the behavior of the subject before you get to capture the subject. So that is very much necessary, which goes as tip number 2. So the third tip is you have to understand the distance from your subject to the background. So this is very much essential in case you want to achieve a greater depth of field. So I have a subject like this. In case this is my subject A and this is my subject B and this is my subject C. So in case I want to shoot subject A even at 1.8 and the subject B is like very tightly close to subject A, and you are not going to get a greater depth of field, it will be like very minimal blur. If you want to have a complete green matte finish like this one, so in this case the subject was far behind and the peacock was far front, so the distance from the subject and the background was quite a distance. So I was able to get this green matte finish when I shot this peacock in a very good depth of field at 1.8. I shot this one in the 50mm prime lens. So this is the result I have got because of the distance that I understood from the subject to the background, which is very much necessary. If you want to get a greater depth of field, this is very much necessary to understand the distance between your subject and the background. So this goes as tip number 3. Tip number 4. So you have to basically keep in mind, or you have to check on the exposure conditions after you decrease or increase or you play with your aperture and shutter speed. So you have decided that this is the shutter speed I want for making this particular frame, and you have slided your shutter speed, and then you want this depth of field for this particular action. And you have slided your aperture, and you have to check on your exposure. Like, what is the exposure, if it is going negative, if it's going positive, or how do you have to check that, and so that you make further changes on shutter speed, shutter speed and aperture, and you get the perfect exposure on your camera, on your frame. So this is very much necessary to check on your exposure as and when you move your shutter speed and aperture. So this goes as tip number 4. Tip number 5 basically deals with the last and the final parameter of exposure triangle, that is ISO. So you got to know what is the maximum ISO that your camera can deal with. So you will have to know what is the maximum ISO that your camera deals with. So for my camera, it is like, I have quite a number of cameras. So when I take my first camera, that is a 550D, Canon 550D, which goes maximum up to 400, ISO 400, beyond which I start getting grains. So the ISO point at which you start getting grains is the maximum ISO limit for that camera. Do not stress your camera beyond that point. And even if you stress that and you shoot your images in RAW, you're going to get a heavy loaded file with completely grains in it, so which is of no use. So you restrict your camera to the maximum ISO that is set for your camera. That is, you have to do it with trial and error basis and find out what is the maximum ISO for your camera, and that is very much necessary to make an amazing images. So this goes as tip number 5. So master all these 5 tips before you get into the field, and you will be able to make amazing images with perfect exposure. So I hope this information was very much useful. We'll come up with more amazing videos. Until then, stay tuned and follow me on Instagram. Thank you.